What's up, everyone? So, everything that's going on right now is bullshit. We are at the pinnacle of a parabola of a climax of events that have been set generations beforehand, just by all the privileged trillionaires that run our fucking lives. We are the pathetic black dot that is subject to these forces. We have to ask now. We are at a pivotal moment where we have to ask, what happens when a multi-generational global war of subversion and infiltration of multiple levels of government reaches the end game. And I believe that will lead to a total reset of everything. That's right, the Great Reset. Can't stop it, and no one is prepared for it. People's memories are short. They don't possess the historical memory to even prevent what is about to occur all over the world. Basically what you have is we have this technology, blockchain, that is immutable and pretty much perfect way of distributing accurate data that is completely unemployed and ignored and not even discussed properly in the fucking news media or even in basic conversation. Everyone wants to talk about surface level bullshit when you go out in public and get the basic download of what people are talking about. It's fucking pathetic. No one talks about blockchain. It's fucking just testament to how fucking stupid everyone is. Basically hindering humanity as a whole, just keeping blockchain technology away from its everyday use, and stopping our basically the next phase of growth as a species of humanity. I don't know. The picture is starting to look like the whole of humanity might be waking up from the hundreds of years of enslavement under a system of debt, just completely enslaved mentally and financially and culturally and technology and spiritually for centuries. We've all just been wandering around without purpose in our grandma's basement, just subject to the will of these psychopaths who deem themselves the arbiter of not even morality, just the way shit's gonna go. I don't know who believes that they are who has that kind of ego, but regardless, there are people waking up, but in the end, they say the ultimate form of slavery is one where the slaves believe themselves to be free. I believe that the American people back in, the breakaway from the UK, hundreds of years ago, briefly escaped the European banking aristocracy, but that didn't last very long. The fucking British Crown was working with the fucking Vatican and the Pope and his army of rapist bishops and rapist priests, basically annexed the United States back into the UK in the 1800s. And we've been under UK mafia rule basically since 18 70s or some shit like that. Just a banana republic of the UK for almost 2 centuries. And a lot of this was triggered by the need for a treasury in the US following the Civil War. Debt, we needed debt financing, we needed infrastructure money, and that was achieved by creating a parallel doppelganger state in the United Kingdom. So, thus, a new corporate government was established. Washington, D.C., just completely unaccountable and unlawful extraterritorial city-state, which was actually headquartered in the UK and still is today, and totally just an illusion of what people think. You know, they think we have this fucking Congress and Senate and all this bullshit, and we're just a city-state of the UK. And a lot of people don't even want to think this way. A lot of people don't even want to think, honestly. Like, they're just so fucking smooth-brained. A lot of people are just happy being indignant at the end of the day. If I can be indignant 2 or 3 times a day, then I know I'm smart and I'm doing the right things in life. That's how most people live their fucking lives in America, and in the UK probably, and probably all over the world. I mean, this is the sickness that they want you to have. They want you to be addicted to not being wrong and and having the ability to be indignant. That's what they want for everybody, and it's working, honestly. So, but I mean, basically, slavery did not end in the Civil War. They just extended it to everybody, really. They changed the model and they extended it to all American citizens. Similar to how when they quote unquote gave women equal rights, it was just more people to tax. It was under the banner of human rights. It was just yet another trick, bullshit, lie that people believe and think is this great thing, but sadly the truth is much more psychopathic than that. So basically they just changed the model of slavery to an illusion of freedom under a system of debt. And I'm not saying that like I'm fucking wearing shackles and digging in cotton fields and shit, but I mean, I am scraping pennies to, make ends meet, and I imagine 90% of Americans are doing the same, and, are just waking up to how broke they actually are. Like, I don't think anyone actually realized how broke they actually were until this pandemic hit. They were like, oh shit, a pandemic hit, like I don't even have money to buy food for the next month. Like, if you don't have money to like sustain yourself for a few weeks in case of a disaster, like, millions are gonna die. And that people are starting to wake up to that, like the frailty of their situation. And it's gonna be a interesting future, I guess. But I mean, basically, that's why I exist in grandma's basement with zero prospects, zero ability to start a business, zero ability to really do anything besides get a job at fucking some fast food restaurant and pay grandma's bills for her, which, I can barely afford to do anything outside of that. I've got some dogs I have to feed, but basically just a piece of shit to the government, But, I'm not complaining, it's not bad. I'm not scraping aluminum out of a ditch in Calcutta somewhere trying to scrape 5 cents together. You know, I'm not living like that. I'm not a fucking prisoner in the DFC selling coffee bags out of my asshole. You know, I ain't doing that. So, you know, life's not terrible, but you start to get a scope on how much people are holding back in their wealth, and how much we could really change this world if there was not so much wealth hoarding, which blockchain technology solves. It opens the floodgates for financial value to flow in so many different manners. Like, you're talking real estate and part ownership of fine art and owning pieces of music that come, like, we're really deriving value from every little speck of data that we can, and it's the perfect way to move all this value and constantly generate and flow income. And it's just, I mean, this is the way that we get to fucking Star Trek, people. Like, this is how we move enough value to be able to build the future of tomorrow. And like, just sitting here in absolute fucking limbo, waiting for this bullshit to fucking be installed is maddening sometimes. And the fact that, like, we have to walk around this world of these people who think that what they see on television is what's going on, and that's the real thing to worry about, and they're just totally retarded of the fact that we have this entire not only financial system, but, like, I mean, potentially the legal system. I mean, like, the legal system operating on an AI decentralized autonomous organization type of protocol that would run the government, basically, and eliminate the need for voting. I mean, basically, we would vote with our value, and not have to deal with these fucking assholes who go on TV and grandstand and talk to us like we're robots. I told you that when I was president, I was gonna do, like, this fucking fake wrestling bullshit, brother. Like, we don't believe in that shit anymore, and it's old. And you know, like, and until they implement a system that I'm satisfied with, like, I'm not gonna participate. I'm gonna keep smoking dope in my basement. I don't care if you people think I'm a loser. Like, y'all are losers. Like, this whole fucking world is made of losers. Like, none of y'all even know what the fuck is going on in the world, and yet I'm the loser living in my grandma's basement because I can't fucking you know, get a job that pays me enough to do anything more than this in a world that is purposefully hindering people like me who have dreams and desires and good ideas, you know, and I'm just completely fucking bereft of the ability to do it. And even when I was on my way to being able to achieve these goals, release this bullshit coronavirus and destroy my fucking way of living, my entire fucking income just destroyed. I had to go back to the old ways of making money, and you know, it's now we're just in this fucking situation where, I mean, it's just the great reset. It's chaotic, you know. Just employees who are going to be replaced by automatons in the next 5 to 10 years, and they know it. Working for $7.50 an hour to count quarters at a gas station, just, you know, fucking forced to be there 9 hours a day, getting shit pay. Just no room for spiritual growth or anything, no personal growth. Just you know, making poison food and drinks all day at Burger King for a mass of morons who willingly shill out their fucking garbage fiat for, you know, perpetuating a black hole of bad habits and fucking fake ass cheeseburger meat. Disgusting. And then they willingly pass it on to their children, like, bring your kids to McDonald's, get a Big Mac, some fucking chicken fries, like fucking peasants, dude. But I mean, once the whole world understands that they're just a victim of debt and tax slavery, I mean, I guess you'd think that it would be inevitable that they would demand a new level of prosperity, a new level of quote unquote, of freedom. But, I mean, you look at parts of China where just complete totalitarian slave-owning society, anywhere you cut it. I mean, you've got a tiered society, but, it's definitely some slave labor going on there that we Americans profit off of and act like we're not a part of, but just more hypocrisy. Fucking LeBron James' new shoes made by some fucking 8-year-old who no one gives a shit if he dies tomorrow. Yeah, but I mean, China's got those productive slaves, dog. So unproductive slaves are useless, so that what they've done is they've manufactured a purpose for these modern day slaves. So they have this illusion of freedom that is created based on, whatever local things they have to do to reinforce these people's illusion of freedom. But in reality, China is an experiment. It's run by the most rich global elite central bankers of the world. Like a handful of a couple hundred people maybe, who are apparently, some people say like apparently having their own power struggle. You can't have like a couple hundred people or a handful of people ruling over the entire planet for too long until there's power struggles that come about, so. But I mean, they all benefit from extreme poverty. They all benefit from sickness. Extreme poverty somehow begets extreme wealth on the other end. So that's where they're at, and we are somewhere on the lower end of extreme poverty, and getting there, just making it. But yeah, I mean, all this bullshit going on in the world. I mean, what's really going on is really a greater existential crisis in the human consciousness, involving a debate, basically, who will program, I guess, the new AI, quantum, financial, and legal system. I mean, finance and law and information and property ownership, all that shit is gonna intertwine on a level I think that it's hard to describe right now in the present moment. But it's going to be a lot of merging of worlds of different tenets of society, and it's going to create a lot of value, but it's also going to be like a fucking hurricane of shit, plus you got the brain computer interface psychopaths who legit really want to put a fucking chip in their brain, which doesn't make any sense to me. I never thought I would hear anyone seriously consider that, but it's out there. But all of this is basically a crucial step towards technological singularity, and that's why there is so much conflict going on now around crypto and the digital financial system and the control of medicine, because and the control of government via DAOs, decentralized autonomous organizations. You've got a conflict of all of those tenets of power control over the world basically collapsing and falling into a system that allows the majority of people to participate in those systems rather than the most rich of society, or the most elite. And the people don't even know this. Man, they don't even know this is going on. That, like, most people, like 90% of the planet, maybe more, 98% of the planet has no idea that this is going on. That there is this like unfathomable huge movement in the way the world is going to work in the next, like, even 20, 30, 40 years from now. The world is going to be unrecognizable, and no one even knows that they can participate in the shaping of this because they've been so programmed to just be the weak dot that is a just subject to the outside forces. So yeah, I think China is probably a testing ground for like the prototypes of total surveillance technologies and social scoring and 5-foot surveillance and brain and thought tracking via brain chips. Like, you don't want to think the wrong thing without your brain chip correcting you with a fact checker. Like, oh, you don't have the brain chip installed? I can't trust what you say because your opinion doesn't come from the great AI in the sky. So, I'm glad I don't live in China, but like, it's all fucking coming to everybody. But what's different in America is, like, we still have the Second Amendment, which was formed before the UK recolonized us in the late 1800s. We had the right to bear arms, which is something that I'm not trying to be a redneck here, but they really do want to take our rights to have guns. Like, I own a shitload of firearms, and even though I know I don't stand a chance against a drone strike or like a hellfire missile just launching on my fucking house, killing me and grandma in the process. Like, they still have to be accountable for that. Like, I'm not just gonna be a fucking sitting duck waiting for a CIA organized home invasion, or, some fucking asshole is trying to break into my house under the guise of some act of war that's totally CIA organized bullshit. Or a legit threat, and it's just, you never want to be a sitting duck in America these days. You need to have a fucking gun, cameras, security, all that shit. Which is why I'm trying to get the fuck out of this place. But yeah, I don't know. I guess that makes me public enemy number one or something, because I have firearms, and that makes me a fucking enemy of the people, right? Enemy of the state, enemy of the automatron. But you see in Canada now, people getting their bank accounts frozen and their ability to buy shit, and they're gonna starve if they can't go and fucking buy their ramen noodles at the store. You're fucking killing these people and cutting out their bank accounts. But these rights and freedoms that everyone enjoys, like getting your coffee at 4 a.m. before your shift at Walmart, are just state conferred privileges that can just be removed at any time. Vaccine passports, if those ever become a normal thing, which it looks like maybe they're not. It looks like, I hope not, but yeah, you don't have your vaccine passport, they'll freeze all your financial accounts and just, motherfucker, go do your own thing then, Shit. Yeah, thanks a lot, government. Appreciate it. Yeah, widespread censorship. You can't even fucking have a dissenting voice, or even 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 like a sociable discourse you can't have. Like you saw on January 6th, if any of that shit was even real and not a fucking psyop. You saw on January 6th, like all those people just wanted to get into the House or whatever. They wanted to get into the Senate or whatever and get on the microphone and just say shit. Like they weren't there to go like lay bombs and blow up the building. Like they were there to like go say some shit on a microphone and free speech and all that, and they just get shot in the fucking neck and killed. Like, so there is no freedom of speech here, really. I mean, you can say shit, but like people are gonna think you're an asshole, and you'll never garner a movement behind you here in America because they've just mind controlled so many people that like you will never be able to say anything of substance without a mob of 80% people just knocking you down and destroying any kind of momentum. They've employed an army of useful idiots very effectively here in the U.S. I mean, even so, like even considering that we do have the Second Amendment here in the U.S. and that we've got all these firearms, like that's not going to stop anyone from droning my ass, nuking my fucking property and blowing us all up. So, I mean, we're really at the mercy of these fucking assholes. But, I mean, that's just the nature of war and subversion and infiltration. These days, I guess, opposed to subjugation via invasion, firearms directly in your face. We've got all these other psychological weapons to be employed. And I believe that multiple parties have been developing these psychological weapons probably since before and after, and World War I, World War II. Like those conflicts never really ended. Like we are still pretty much in World War II, like in a degree. It's turning into World War III, but like it never really ended. It just kind of went into this like stalemate of like, all right, everyone's gonna put their guns down. Like like World War II kind of ended on a note like, okay, a couple people aiming guns at each other in the room. One guy's just been shot and killed and completely blown up and obliterated, and generations of his family will suffer cancer and sickness. Like, okay, like now what do we do? Now have we just been at this fucking 80-year stalemate, which is, I guess, coming to some sort of end. I don't know, but I mean, my whole opinion over all this shit is if it ain't blockchain, I don't trust it. Like if I can't vote blockchain, I don't trust that my vote counted. If I don't see all the government's money on a blockchain, I don't trust it. Everything, it's getting to the point, I mean, you can't trust anything that's not on a fucking AI controlled computer. I mean, we're basically just gonna run the game, like run the world like a Final Fantasy saved game state. Everything's gonna run according to the actions of the people, and that saved game state will record those actions, and that will be the reference for how we form the world based on our last saved game. And that is blockchain technology in a nutsack. But I mean, I know I'm going on a rant here, but like, I mean, just everything's bullshit, dude. Like, and like, I try to go out and I try to socialize with people and like talk to people, and like nobody even fucking knows this shit's going on. They're just like talking about bullshit. Like, I just really don't care. Like, talking about BLM still. Like, who the fuck is talking about BLM? Like, who gives a fuck, dude? This shit was like 10 years ago and was a total psyop. And it's getting frustrating to, I mean, it's been funny for the past 7 years or whatever, like, watching people get psyoped. It's been pretty funny, but like now it's getting to the point where like, it's like 90% of people are under it, and it's like hard to meet people, and it's like hard to socialize, and it's like affecting, it's affecting a lot of things, you know what I'm saying? Like, who am I supposed to smoke dope with if they're just gonna fucking talk my head off about Russia all day, how diabolical Russia is? Like, I'm not trying to hear all that. I'm trying to smoke dope, talk about blockchain and good ideas for the future. And all these motherfuckers want to talk about is how this thing is ruining this thing, and everyone's a total fucking doomsday retard. It's just getting annoying, really, you know? But yeah, the last couple years have obviously demonstrated that law enforcement and academia and court systems and the medicine field and especially the media are all deeply corrupted on a DNA scale. Probably from like CCP influence and you know, which, yeah, and by the way, this is kind of off topic, but December 4th, 2021, there was a solar eclipse in Antarctica that David Schwartz supposedly went to and saw some solar eclipse and made this cryptic tweet about how this is going to change everything. So I looked it up, and this has something to do with the return of the 13th zodiac, who is, I guess, the god of medicine, wrestling the staff of the serpent, the staff of medicine from the serpent, symbolizing the release of the secrets of medicine that essentially have been enslaving humanity for centuries. So it might be possible that we get a cure for cancer, cure for AIDS, cure for this COVID shit that everyone's been infected with. But 13 zodiac people, maybe we finally find the cure to a lot of different diseases that are destroying humanity and preventing us from, I don't know, reaching our potential. But anyway, the waters ahead will be turbulent. We are at the mercy of trillionaire occult psychopaths, and the Great Reset is going to happen from all sorts of angles. Just like the Big Bang, just complete chaotic rebirth of everything. And while the USA flirts with totalitarianism, the world will continue in its ongoing de facto and unrestricted World War III, meaning that there is no divide between military and civilian combat operations. Things like coronavirus, cyber acts, not outside the Geneva no more. There are no physical or moral boundaries to its conduct. Biological, informational, everything is fair game in World War III, as long as it's under the covers of plausibility. So, everything we've learned in TV and documentaries in school has to be questionable at this point. It's sad, it's depressing, and you don't want to think about it, but I guess you have to. So there's a great reset, the great reawakening. You know what I'm saying? We are at a point in history where data is easily manipulated and is often a perversion of reality than the accurate representation. Our timelines have been completely hacked. Entire histories of people deleted or flat out ignored. Like Antarctica, Greenland, especially African history. Lots of African history is just glossed over. The ancient Indian Vedics, no one talks about the Indian Vedics. And basically, I mean, we're at a point where people have created a situation where we will never know what really goes on or went on, whether underground, above ground, ancient civilizations completely hidden from you and me, or just disregarded, and on purpose by psychopaths. Again, this is a reoccurring theme. Everyone's fucking psycho, who are running these different forms of government. I mean, the world as we commonly know it excludes a vast infrastructure and history. Just a massive iceberg that you can go down to your heart's content. But at the end of the game, it's all a choose your own adventure book. That's what life is now. But that's why a lot of people turn to numerology, astrology, try to decode the structure of the choose your own adventure book. And I hope someone cracks the code one day. But I mean, at the end of the day, you have regular people, 95% of the world, just knowing the world as they commonly know it, as if there does not exist a vast infrastructure of deep underground military bases, a secret space program off planet, as if they aren't doing a bunch of weird lab experiments like miles into the surface. All that shit's James Bond and sci-fi. But it could never exist in real life because that would make me uncomfortable. So, I mean, really, we are at the mercy of those forces. And I mean, who are you to question my theories? Like, will you go down in the ocean? Will you scuba dive? You go down with your scuba gear 10 miles underneath the ocean, dig some holes and drill some holes, and no deep underground military bases here. No, fucking bullshit. You don't know what you're talking about. You can't go into space. Like, they're not going into space looking for secret space bases that have been built in the 1930s. You have no fucking clue. You don't have a beaker. You're not looking at coronavirus under a microscope. You're not extracting the aluminum and the bullshit from the virus, and you're just sticking that shit right in you, dude. Like, just admit it. It's cool. Just admit it. You don't have to be like you were afraid and you did it. It's fine. Just admit you. Stop putting people down. You didn't. But bottom line is, everyone is completely brainwashed on at least one level, maybe every level. And to people like that, there is nothing worse than being wrong, because being wrong means your entire world crumbles around you, and there's absolutely terrifying. I can't be wrong because everything I learned was bullshit and I'm just a fucking moron. So that's just the worst experience for some people. There is no humility, and they've been programmed to think that humility and being wrong is the worst thing in the world. So it's just, now we have the average human being wallowing in an extreme ignorance of the esoteric and occult knowledge that the billionaires use to control our lives and live their lives by. Like, I'm not saying that shit's, I don't give a fuck, but I'm just saying that's how the fucking billionaires think. I'm gonna look into it. But I'm crazy for that, right? So, you just have these people who's completely ignorant, living in a fishbowl, reacting to the impulse of the outside the bowl with fingers pointing and hands brushing against the glass, and the fish are just reacting to it. Whoa, whoa. But, some fish are smart enough to look away from the glass and look inward, but the most threatening thing to an NPC or a noob of society is to be educated or overconfident, or not even overconfident, just like confident in yourself. Confidence in yourself is perceived as like a threat these days to certain groups of people, and it's just as if you are like elite because you possess the basic qualities of confidence, and just a disgusting existence. But I mean, the world that we've been living in the past century has been, on a global scale, under control of a few handful of billionaire families. But I guess over the years, their systems of secrecy have been, their secrets, the way they do shit behind closed doors is coming into combat. I guess they can't agree on what sort of 7-year-old little boy they want to fuck in the asshole on the 12th moon of the 13th alignment of Jupiter. Who the fuck knows, dude? It's like breaking up the old band. Ringo just wouldn't play the drum beats I wanted him to play. It's like, the global elite are breaking up the band, and it's time to globally reset everything because none of these little fucking peasants' lives matters anyway. Let's just go ahead and do it. So that's what we're basically doing. We're just little black dots at the mercy of billionaire psychopaths. But one good thing going on, I suppose, is the public exposure of the secrets of these pedophile elites. The power of these secret societies crumbling because of blackmail being distributed on all ends, triggering a political reset. That's right. Because there's videos of Hunter Biden smoking crack and getting foot jobs, that might be the reason we have to go through this global pandemic and financial reset. So Elon Musk loves to say, fate loves irony, fate loves irony. Well, I think fate would get a huge kick out of global financial reset being basically set off by Hunter Biden's sex tape blackmail operations. That would be fucking irony and funny to nobody except God, I guess, because God's got a sick fucking sense of humor. But yeah, basically the public exposure to these secret events and the goings on of the secret societies will trigger these political resets, and basically we all are pawns having to deal with the repercussions of it. So hopefully not too many more of us die. Hopefully there's not a real pandemic where it's not just susceptible people to a flu dying on a larger scale. Hopefully we don't go through a real pandemic of people like actually collapsing on the street left and right, like fucking the Black Plague. Hopefully they're not that psycho, but I wouldn't put it past them. They flew some fucking planes into the towers and blew those up. But it's not just finance and politics and, that are facing a total reset. It's, we've been exploited through other routes for centuries. You have the development of energy, like free energy exists. We know that free energy exists, but that's been held back another form of enslavement. The communications reset requires, we have to basically, no one trusts the media anymore at some point, I imagine. So like our entire way of consuming credible information has to be reset. And I can't even fathom what that is gonna look like. It's gonna be fucking funny. And then you have the health and wellness reset, just the possible releases and cures of medical technology that has been around for at least a century, just healing old viruses and diseases that we've known about for years, with cures just sitting in labs, just waiting for the perfect financial moment to release. We've got all that shit probably coming out soon. So, that would move us away from the old systems of medicine, I guess, like a decentralized medicine system. However you can imagine that. Which also has to do with the rebirth of the 13th zodiac and the freeing of the medicinal staff from the serpent, which Baphomet proudly wears around his belt, signifying as above and below. Baphomet is a demonic god who fancies himself leader of the above and the below, but he's really a fucking faggot. He thinks he can wear the medicine belt, control everything. But anyway, I think we'll see the coronavirus bullshit slowly disappear as people emotionally detach from the issue. If you got the vaccine, then I wish you luck. I don't think you're probably gonna be fine, but like personally, if it was me, I would be up every night worried about what the fuck they injected me in. And but who knows? I'm just a dumbass redneck in my grandma's basement. But it's possible that after this mass vaccination, that we might face an AIDS 2.0 mega crisis, organ failures, dementia, just straight up death of people who took this gene therapy without reading the fine print that no one is accountable if something bad happens. Which as soon as I saw that personally, I made the decision not to get vaccinated. And I was like, wait, why are they including this caveat in here? I'm not allowed to seek restitution if I get fucking MS from this vaccination. I'm not taking this bitch. So, call me a white supremacist Nazi, but I didn't take that fucking vaccine. Sorry. We'll see what happens later, I guess. But I really wish everyone luck, because I know you acted out of fear, and it wasn't an easy decision. Probably was an easy decision because you do what you're told. But I feel for everyone who has taken the vaccine without much of a thought. That sucks. I just hope we're all okay at the end of this. But yeah, this total reset of everything is a process. It's not an overnight event. Like this forced deployment of vaccines in their experimental phase means they cannot be mandatory, but you'll certainly get scrutinized for not taking it. But it removes the ability of globalists to force everyone to take them. You're not forced, but you are reprimanded socially for not taking it. Less and less so these days, I think, I hope. But yeah, the vaccine manufacturers are completely revoked of accountability should something go wrong. So I don't know. part of me wants to say if you knew that and you got vaccinated anyway, like, you're kind of retarded. Sorry. I mean, not retarded, but like, I don't mean that, but like, you know, you shouldn't have done that. You shouldn't have done that. You're just a boy. Because now you're like at the mercy of potentially awful consequences that can't be blamed on another mutation of the virus. Like, I mean, but it could totally be blamed on the experimental vaccine you got that no one's accountable for giving you except for you. But that's just an example of the stranglehold of the medicinal industry has over us. Like, people just blindly take what they give them, you know. Like, I mean, I'd get my vaccinations if I go overseas. Like, I never got the COVID vaccine, but I got, like, you know, whatever they needed me to get when I went to Mexico, I think. You know, and I didn't give a shit, but like, this COVID thing was a whole nother animal. Like, this was obviously, to me, some sort of organized agenda type of thing. I think it was all just way too convenient, and I'm going to give it a couple more years before I make my final assessment on it. I'm not just going to emotionally invest into it and get this fucking vaccine and call it a day. I think that's retarded. And I'm sorry to the people who were forced to get it because of their jobs. Luckily, I'm able to just remain in grandma's basement, stare at the fucking walls all day, and not get vaccinated, and not be able to, you know, socialize or do anything except smoke dope. You know what I'm saying? Get high. But the financial reset, I think this is going to be basically the end of the existence of war. You know, the apparent civil war within the Freemason, Illuminati, psychopath groups who control our lives, and the uncertainty that brings. I mean, it's just a huge signifier about, you know, the process of a mega collapse, mega reform, a mega renewal of everything. Probably lots of power grabs, whatever that's going to look like. You know, there's some people say that there is a great awakening, and that's just part of the total reset of everything. And, you know, other people say nature is coming, you know, like the secret societies of the world, you know, the Freemasons and the global elite, they're all aware of cycles of cataclysm, cosmic events, natural disaster cycles, floods, gales, earthquakes. They are all aware and can pinpoint when these events are going to happen. You know, solar flares, shit like that. And, you know, maybe they know that we're all going to fucking die in one of these events, and they're going to be straight in their Antarctica bunker. Who the fuck knows? I mean, we live day to day with humanity at stake as a whole, and there's no way to sugarcoat that. But I mean, if this old guard of power is defeated by blockchain technology, and we are able to develop perfect medicines and vote with our values and just completely eliminate corruption from, you know, not completely eliminate, but like at least severely hamper the influence of corruption in our society on all levels via blockchain. I mean, I think the better off we'll be, the faster we can do that. You know, but I don't know what the death rattle of the old guard system of power will sound like. It will probably sound like, I can't imagine. Maybe some Skynet shit. Maybe some nukes, maybe some explosions, maybe a real pandemic, people dying left and right in the streets, who the fuck knows. It's probably going to be nothing we've ever seen in recorded history. Surprise attacks from all sides, all factions in this global stage, all these hidden factions, secret societies, using their best Machiavellian tricks against each other all at once, with you and I in the balance. It will definitely be exciting, I guess. We may endure some alien invasion holographic shit. I mean, anything is impossible. I mean, so be it. On the other end of all this bullshit, whatever becomes of this supposed end of Kali Yuga, a new culture and society and a new earth will be birthed. And I know this because I am a Pisces. That's right. Steve himself is a Pisces, and I know this shit for real. The foreshocks of the dimensions that I see when I take mushrooms is to be believed. There is indeed a peaceful and benevolent far side to this wild ride on the other end. Been eating a lot of mushrooms, smoking a lot of dope, divining this information from the clouds at night, staring at the fucking moon, eating mushrooms. I said fuck gematria and started doing shrooms and weed, staring at the stars and shit. So gematria is still bullshit in my book, but I'm doing things my own way like a real gangster, you know what I'm saying? But basically I have divined and figured out that I think humanity will blossom when we are freed from this inbreeding of greed from the past thousands of years. Hopefully blockchain technology and computer magic will help in this endeavor. Because one thing that will never reset in the total reset of everything is the roots of our origins. The ancient Vedas, they like to hide the ancient Vedas from us. They don't teach us anything about the Vedas, which is basically knowledge from before time, if you can fathom that. They don't teach us that shit. They don't even want you knowing what that is. They want you to think history is made up of racism and the pyramids, and they don't want you to know anything about the Vedas. And on that note, I still think the best is yet to come, but to arrive to that best, probably gonna have to go through some shit. Probably gonna have to, maybe people are gonna die. Maybe people will get fucked. Hopefully it's not that bad. People are stupid these days, man, and they're very quick to anger, just completely spiritually bereft, just full of anger. Recently I've been like approaching everyone as if they're like a crackhead. Like, I don't know if y'all watched The Wire, but there's this episode of The Wire where this guy gets out of jail and he's hitting the streets and he's trying to like get his life back together, and he's walking around at midnight, and this teenager comes up to him with a gun at his head, And he's like, give me your motherfucking shit, blah, blah, and the dude who just got out of jail, like, recognizes that the kid's on coke, because the kid's like, give me all your shit. So the guy recognizes that he's on coke, sniffing a lot, and he decides to disengage the guy peacefully, yo man, it's cool, brother. I know you on coke. I know you're possessed. So I mean, that's how we have to approach these retards in society. Like that we're all surrounded by, like just these completely spiritually bereft victims of Illuminati, Klaus Schwab, fucking undertaking. Like earlier, I was at the gas station. And I was trying to get some fucking gas for the station wagon. I had like $4 in quarters in my cup holder. Gas tank on complete empty. Like, my car was like rattling when I pulled up to the gas station. And I walked up to the counter. I was nice. I was like, hey, how you doing, baby? I was like being nice and shit. I said, look, I need to get $4 on this pump. And I gave her 16 quarters. She said, I ain't taking no more quarters because I got $30 in quarters already. And, like, keep in mind, my gas tank is on empty. And I would have just been like, oh, all right, that's cool. I'll go down the street. But my gas tank is empty. And Steve does not live in a hospitable part of town. So it's late at night, it's like midnight. I need to get the fuck out of here, and my gas tank's on empty. This woman is telling me my quarters are not worthy tender because it created the burden of her having to count 16 more coins at the end of her shift. So continuing being nice with her, I said, this is all I have. I don't have my cash or my card, left my wallet at home. I got these quarters. Like, for real, my gas tank is on E. I'm not trying to run out of gas out here. And she just kept arguing, counting. I'm not counting all these coins because I gotta count those coins at the end of the night. And I said, ma'am, it's like 16 coins. Like, I'm trying to, you got $30 in quarters. You don't want $34 in quarters? She was like, no, I do not. And she was complaining about having to count more coins at the end of her shift. Like, it was a big problem to count 16 fucking quarters at the end of the shift. So I escalated shit a little bit, and I said, bitch, are you retarded? It takes 16 seconds to count 16 coins. And, we had a little exchange, and I apologized, and, I felt bad. I did regret it. But, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, you can't count quarters? It's 10 seconds, bitch. Dude, so I left, didn't get my gas. I probably deserved it. But, what the fuck, bro? Count my fucking quarters and give me the gas. I'm on E in the fucking hood. What if my car breaks down and I got no gas left anyway? That's what's really going on in the world, people. But, I guess the lesson is it's important to be accountable for yourself. You let others choose your own path, then you might wind up with consequences that you never foresaw. It's all about self-care, self-compassion. Just like that woman at the fucking gas station stranded me at the gas station in a bad neighborhood with crackheads in the parking lot and shit. I need gas, but she won't take my fucking quarters. Anyway, fifth dimension incoming, people. Empathy, rebirth, in waves of empathy, and kindness, Doge GF, revolution and revelations, rebirth of Jupiter, 222, Pluto, all that shit. You know what I'm saying? We're about to have to stop worrying about all this menial, like third dimension shit, this worldly shit. So, anyway, that's what's really going on, guys. Everything's CGI. Everything's about the global reset. Everything's about the fucking control of the individual, because you have a bunch of fucking paranoid, fucking esoteric, eccentric trillionaires who are probably eating a bunch of DMT and getting paranoid that we're all gonna fucking kill ourselves, so they gotta control us. So that's what's really going on, simply put. And all I can say is believe in yourself, reclaim your sovereignty, demand your liberty, and welcome to the total reset of everything. Shit is gonna get wild, and we finally might get out of Grandma's basement.